podcast listeners, if you hear my voice right now, I need you to do something for me. I want you to take out your phone or on your computer, go to Apple Podcasts, search for Ask Your Oldhead Podcast. You'll see my logo, my little picture, my little image there. Find the show. Please rate and write a review. It's a small thing, but it helps others find this work and find what I'm doing here. And it really, really matters, as small as that may seem. So if you could please do that before we get into the show, I would much appreciate it. Thank you for listening. Let's get into it. Peace. Peace. We are here again, good brothers, and I got, I'm Majestic.
Peace.
And we got very, very special guest, Nabri Savior. Nabri, what up with it?
Peace.
So,
I just want to let y'all know.
Let them know.
Listen, that, you know what I'm saying? We have bought an exciting component of Good Brothers tonight. Our righteous brother, you know what I mean? Our brother in the pedigree. And we up saying I'm looking forward to a really, really good conversation, really good dialogue.
Absolutely. So, we brought, invited God to come add on to this conversation because we wanted to talk about the Verzuz. And not like, what you're getting into with us. I'm not here to tell you what happened. You can go watch it yourself.
Right.
However, we wanted to talk about because it's a real ill phenomenon that's kind of arisen out of this moment in the world, with the global pandemic and all. However, the manifestation of this particular piece has a lot of other cultural, overtones, threads that I think, are important and vital. So Majestic, could you set us up real quick and then, we go from there?
Yeah, actual fact. So I think the Verzuz is interesting. I'm coming off of our conversation last week around kind of top 5 DOA, right? But also that this Verzuz gives a space and an opportunity, especially during COVID, right? Because there's a whole set of things that happen in the Black community that you would have seen throughout this year, right? Like people would have been in Miami for Memorial Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
They would have been at the Essence Fest, right? They would be at CBC. They would be at homecomings, right? There's like a whole, and this is what made me think of it. There's a whole like reality of like things that Black people do nationally that when you think about it, it reinforces a variety of things. The young artists, it reinforces the older artists, right? Because if you go to a homecoming, it's going to be, it would have been somebody like, he went before his time, in my estimation, Pop Smoke. But at the same time, they would have Biz Markie DJing, right? Or they would have Mary J. Blige, and you would have had Jhené Aiko at Essence Fest, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you would have had this space where you have a multi-generational conversation around Black people. And this just happens every year, all at places across the country. But this year, you don't have it. So Verzuz kind of jumped in the space to then have this broader dialogue around seeing things, and especially for older folks. And I'm going to define older folks here as 35 and up. This is a broader conversation around what it means for Black folks to use and come together through music and culture, right? To celebrate. That we don't have the places that we would have celebrated. We would have celebrated in New Orleans. We would have celebrated in Miami. We would have celebrated in New York at Hot 97. At the Summer Fest, Summer Jam. We would have celebrated all those places, right? But we can't do that this year. So where we're going to celebrate now is via this Verzuz. So that's why I wanted to bring it. And I think, that the God has a very interesting, and unique view on some of these verses, right? As we all do. So I just wanted to bring that because I think now we've had to take our celebrations virtual, right? We've had to take our relational engagements with each other virtual, and what does that look like?
Right.
Or so I mean, so what was the first one? Like, was there an official first one, or did it just sort of like? Because in my mind, I can't. Go ahead.
I think the first one. Pardon me. I think the first one was Timberland and Swiss Beats.
Okay.
They're the ones who act. Well, obviously they are in charge of it, but they're the ones who began battling each other, and then it just sprang from them two. And the second one was T-Pain and
Lil Jon.
Lil Jon, right.
And I think that was RZA and Premier. So so I read something a little earlier about this, just prepping for us to build, that Just Blaze and Swiss kind of started the first verses on DJing of beats that they did.
Right.
Okay.
Years ago, like 3-4 years ago. And then Just Blaze and Alchemist would actually go across the world and do this, right? So the DJs have been doing this for years, but the actual artists hadn't showed up. So I think this gave the artists a chance to show up. Whereas it almost like turned it from a sound clash, what we traditionally call a sound clash in like reggae culture, and did it in the hip hop form. And then now it has morphed. So it's another example to that point of hip hop being like constantly taking from global black culture, right? Where two DJs use all the songs they did and play them, and then you see who likes them. And then now it's like, okay, well, two rappers or two singers come together, and then you see who likes what.
Yeah.
Right.
So with the what with these, you know what I'm saying, really, like what stands out? Like what about like doing this matchup piece, this particular kind of way of showing up in the world? Why I mean, why is it resonating? You know what I'm saying? Do you think in this minute?
What's your take, Bruce?
Whatever.
It's a mystery, right? Because you don't know what each artist is going to actually perform. Like we've been to concerts where you have an idea, okay, they're going to do like their A side, right? They're not going to do like the B side songs. But by it being a battle, you don't know what songs they're going to come with. You don't know if they're going to do live, if they're going to perform live, if they're going to just let the beat play, let the song play and nod their head. You don't know what's going to happen. So like that mystique of just like not knowing, like, is what I think it draws people even more to watch them, to like tune in, because you don't know what's going to happen. Like you cannot predict that, they're even going to show up, but you just know that at a certain time during that week, like, they're going to tune in and you're going to watch it and you're going to see what happens. So I think that's is what's exciting about the Verzuz. And these are just, and it's like it's more like it's so human, right? It's just like, yo, they're at their house, or they're like somewhere kind of locked down like you,
right?
Unless you're like an essential worker, it's like, wow, like RZA was at his house, right? Erykah Badu was at her house, so it was like, Jill Scott, they all were pretty much at, not on stage. You got a chance to kind of see how they live to a degree, so it made you feel like, it's a feeling of like, man, we're all in this together, but then we're being entertained by, kind of like going over like your friend's house,
right.
Like your friend's an artist and he wants you to hear all his hot shit. Like, listen to this song.
Nah. Hold up. Nah. You like that one? Hold up.
Right. And it's like, oh shit, all right, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I can't go nowhere for real, so I'm stuck.
Yeah, because the interesting thing that's been hard for me is like, I'm like, all right, so at first I was like, do I follow, you know what I'm saying? Do I follow each of those artists to make sure I know what happens? And I'm going to keep it 100. I ain't seen none of these live. I always catch a piece of it, you know what I'm saying? Or I find out, I'm like, oh, damn, it's over. Or like, I don't know what time it is. Might be the West Coast thing. I'm not 100% sure. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, but you can go find it, you know what I'm saying, on the internet. You know, it looks like it's a couple nice cottage industry of making sure your YouTube page looks like it's the actual Verzuz battle official page, even if it ain't. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, but you can watch, you know what I'm saying, and kind of relive the music side of it, you know, maybe not the moment side of it with the, you know, with the emojis and the flashing bubbles and the spectacle, so to speak. However, it's still it's kind of fresh, the idea that you would pair, you know, these performers, these folks that have done all this music, and in some cases done a lot of music, right? Like, whereas like you know, if you ain't been with their catalog, so to speak, all the time, you're like, man, I know they got songs I may not be that familiar with, so let me tune in and see what they do. Or if you know, at least I'll speak for myself. With any artist, you might have the 3-4 records that you really listen to from them, and like to you, that's who they are. But then they got all this other stuff that you ain't never get to. Like, I don't know all the Snoop Lion joints and shit. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even know if he, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know all them songs if he went into the Snoop Lion bag. You know what I'm saying? And what have you. And even X, you know what I'm saying? Like, watching the most recent joints. Like, I don't know all of X's joints. You know what I'm saying? I know a couple from like the Rough Riders, you know, from that era. But you know, the first 2 records that he put out, like he put out his first 2 records like in the 8 months of each other, some shit crazy, wasn't it like that?
Yeah, he did 3 albums in like 2 years. Like between 98 and 2000, he put out 3 albums. Yeah, he was actually the one that came out with the idea of like dropping every December or dropping 2 albums in a year. He actually put that into effect.
Yeah, he was on fire. He was on fire, man.
And you know what it does is, even in this situation, it kind of gives you a space to think about these artists differently. Because I was telling somebody earlier, yo, Snoop came out in 91, right? Snoop has been doing music for 29 years. Put that in perspective.
Yeah.
That's like an artist that started doing music in 1960 and still was performing music in 1990. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, that is a run. And even X, 97, Get At Me Dog comes out. Right? Like, this is like, he has been professionally rapping for 23 years. And so it puts a lot, for me, and that's why this is so interesting, it puts a lot in perspective, because you start being like, damn, hold on, like, you think of these artists as one way, but this is stuff been going on in your life for however long. I ain't gonna bring up the other stuff that my man had to deal with, you know, the Fresh Prince. But one thing I was listening to today was that I was listening to Live at Union Square in 1986, the first time that Will Smith went to New York to perform, coming from Philly. Mm. The first time New York had ever heard the Transformers scratch, right?
Right.
That was 34 years ago. Just to put it in context, right? That was 34 years ago when he went to New York to present himself to New York for the first time ever. So there is a whole host of music, right, that we are just looking at. And again, a lot of us, man, and we've talked about this, Just, and Nabri, I think you can, you know, as you not be for governor, you settle for mayor, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you can relate to, and I think add on about, you know, people are going through a variety of feelings during this time, right? People are going through different stuff, and people need an outlet. And so I think the Verzuz has turned into a form or a source of an outlet.
Facts.
For people who they can't really express all the other stuff, right? They can't express it. They're getting a huge check right now, but might not be getting a huge check. Well, they will not be getting a huge check starting the end of this week, right? Like, there's a different thing coming. Like winter, like, you know what I mean? Like Game of Thrones, like winter is coming.
Yeah.
Like winter is coming.
It's coming. It's coming.
You know, Nabri, how do you see that? Just with I think, what role does it play in people's lives?
I agree. It's the outlet. It takes you away from. It's like kind of like going to the club on Saturday night, right? Like it takes you away from reality because it's unreal. Just the money that the money that people are getting is unreal. Like I was just talking to a friend, recently, and you figure like her first pay was like $4,000, and then every week was like 900. So if you think about it, for like, I had to break it down, like for a couple months, you damn near got like you got like 20 grand. Like you got like 20 grand, and this is just one individual, but so many people are getting, like you said, a lot of money with nothing to really do with it because they can't go to Miami. Well, you can go.
But now we see what happened when everybody went.
Right. So you really can't do X, Y, and Z, and there's no concerts. So all there is to do is to like pretty much, be irresponsible and do frivolous things, but you can stay in your home and you can buy all the, you know, drugs you want and alcohol you want and tune into a live concert for free. For free. So, and now, mind you, people have money right now, so people can actually afford to go to $100 concert. You know what I mean? But now, when things get back to semi-normal, is it worth paying $100 to go to a concert after we getting all these great concert live shows online? Like, and this is just probably outside of Verzuz. Your favorite artist pretty much goes live and gives you a concert on their Instagram, and many shows have been better than paid shows. This is what people are saying. Like they're being entertained more. They're getting like the best out of, this free live entertainment that they would get going and paying for, a show. So these hard times are like good times. If you want to look at it, like these hard times are good times because even though it's warm right now, right? Winter's coming, but it's warm right now. It's summer right now. But folks, have been able to, buy what they want. They've been able to watch what they want. You know, Netflix made so much money they told people to chill. Like, can you believe that? They were making so much money off of streams. They kind of told people to kind of like hold fast because and it's like what? But due to everybody being home or quarantining and whatnot, so I've been seeing a lot of creativity, a lot of like togetherness. This is the most time people have spent, around their children, family, at their computer, at the television. Everybody has like nice TVs and whatnot, but they're not always able to, enjoy them. So, which also I think is also which adds to the viewership of Versus because hey, I'm usually at work. Now I'm not. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What's there to watch? I'm gonna watch this Versus. You know what I'm saying? And or me personally, for someone who like works a lot and my schedule is like weird. I don't have like the weekends off, which most concerts like on the weekend or like a Friday night, whatnot, or like a Saturday night. So I missed out on seeing a lot of these celebrities who would do shows. So it benefits a person like myself as well. I mean, I've even watched some of these Versus shows while on the clock. And I was like, wow, man, this is something that you normally couldn't do. But thanks to the pandemic, right, you could do this stuff. So it's maybe I'm not, I don't know if I'm on if I'm following your question, if I'm answering your question, but I've seen uh this pandemic kind of bring out the best and like the human side of people, like the turning water into wine, you know what I mean, out of people. Because again, who would have thought that we would be sitting in our living room watching two celebrities battle it out, and it's not just you; it's 500, it's millions of people doing what you do. Even like Holly Berry's at home, just
like Holly's watching too.
Yeah, like Michelle Obama's, folks are just at home or watching, doing what you're doing. You normally can't get people to all come together and watch something, man. That's why another stuff I think is beautiful about it, because like when this battle was up, you can guarantee that there are going to be, at least 1 million people watching what you're watching. And it's hip hop. It's not the Super Bowl. It's not the Masters. It's a hip hop battle. So it kind of made me feel extra love for hip hop. The feeling of that may have been once gone or kind of fading away. It's like, wow, it's a new appreciation for how the God said, for these artists who've been doing it for 30 years. And, you tell a kid, oh, baby, he's been rapping for 30 years. He's a legend. It's like, yeah, man, whatever. But now you can show them by these verses. You can show, hey, this guy, DMX and Snoop Dogg, been doing this since the 90s. And they can see it and see how everyone's excited and still cheering them on. They kind of can see their greatness for free on your cell phone.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, too. I was thinking about the sometimes conditions, societal conditions make things that were possible, right? But they change the equation, right? And pre-pandemic, this would have had to be a pay-per-view. You know what I'm saying? And probably post-pandemic, these will be pay-per-views. But for now,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, you going to get to see, in not like in a concert form, really, like in an intimate form, these two artists who go through different different tracks, different hits they've made, different projects they've collaborated on, and you're gonna get like an hour, hour and a half of them, going through music. Which I mean, on the surface you could be like an hour and a half, what's that? But that's a lot of time for somebody just going through songs. Like, not an hour. I mean, we've all been on stage. An hour-long performance is a long performance. You know what I'm saying? Now you go to the live show at the whatever, they might do an hour and a half, 2 hours, split with a break or something, or you know what I mean? But that's you also pay premium prices for that. In the band. You know what I'm saying? And you gonna get that feel like you slipped into the I think I'm the only one that's been to Paisley Park, but when you go to Paisley Park, they would talk about like these other types of shows, Prince used to have, where he would just be like, yeah, people would, like, those who knew would knew, and then there'd suddenly be a show, and it'd be like, yeah, I mean, you walked in a room and you thought you was just gonna hang out, and then Prince jumps out. Like with a band, like, hey y'all, we're gonna perform now. Like, I just come in here to get the after hours drink, and now it's a damn, it's Purple Rain and shit going on. Like, it's that type of energy with these, which I do appreciate. The other thing I think though, it's in terms of the artists, there's a level of like sort of looking at like hip hop having like some maturity, and maturity in the sense of there's enough time and content and body of work that really embracing sort of the nuance of the different eras of the music, the different styles, because it's not like it's Melly Mel and Grandmaster Caz. Right. You know what I'm saying? Which maybe that'll happen, but I'm just saying, like, right now, this is mostly like 90s cats that have been in these different sessions, 90s to the early 2000s. It hasn't been Chuck D and KRS-One. Although that would be weird. I don't know.
Well, the new thing they talking about, without going too deep, the new one they talking about is LL and KRS-One. But KRS-One was talking shit. He was like, yo, you know what I'm saying? LL can't deal with me. I'll destroy LL. In classic KRS-One fashion.
Right. I will destroy him.
Yeah, L
does not want to battle.
L said he's not digging. He went live. I saw his live. He said he's not It's about the vibe. And that's, I think I agree. Like it is about the vibe. He wants to do it with someone who it's a good vibe. They have similar songs. You know, I don't know if him and like Ja Rule would go at it, but they have similar songs, and you know.
Well, that's the thing. Like KRS-One is from that Sound Clash culture, right? So KRS-One is looking at it differently.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's looking at it like, yo, if me and you want the same thing, we going to war. I don't care how old I am, right?
Right.
Whereas everybody else is like, man, we could just chill. KRS-One,
Right, we could just get in there.
Chris ain't never had no chill, so it makes sense that you didn't want to do it with him because he's going to do a new song. He's going to do a special disc, a special freestyle about you, about the guy you was at 89 when he took your chain. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
He gonna bring up old stuff.
yeah, like people say, why you bringing up old shit? Like, homie gonna bring up old shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but I think also, just to your point, what you brought up was really interesting because to me, Verzuz is doing now what the Grammys and the American Music Awards did in the late 80s. And this is for people who are like 44 and that and up. But you remember when you first seen the Whispers do the Cabbage Patch on TV, right? When they performing on the Motown thing, or, you know what I'm saying? You like, yo, they doing a Cabbage Patch, right? Because it's like, that was the connection between the young people and the old people, right? Because it's still the Whispers and they doing Rock Steady, which I listened to earlier. But like, and they doing the Cabbage Patch, so they connecting culture, right? Or when you saw certain artists perform on TV for the first time, it was like, yo, I just saw this artist perform. So I do think it's actually a cross-connecting moment for Black generations, right? Because you don't have the places where everybody would go and just do them. Like, if anyone wants to fly me out to Coachella, as I want to say, before we go any further, if any company wants to fly us out to Coachella to do Good Brothers, I'm there, right? I'm there with Justice. But I'm saying I'm not paying to go to Coachella, right? That's a young person's sport. Yeah. But like at the same time, you get to see stuff and people get to hear different songs that they've never heard. So I do think it's an important component. But I also, to both of y'all's point, think the people that you put together, maybe transition into this, the people you put together on the actual show, it matters.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think you opened the door there, man. What's some matchups, some pairings that, you know what I'm saying, brothers would want to see?
Well, I like what Majestic said and about the KRS-One, like he's ready for war. And that, if you watch the verses, that's kind of like the undertone, like, cause like like behind all the love and all the smiling and, you know, all the praises, some of them, they came ready for war. Like RZA, he was ready for war.
Yeah.
As it played out, he had the outfit.
Yeah.
And he had his sons and everybody on cue. You know what I'm saying? Like he really came ready for war. And it was like he could have went like 50 songs. You know what I'm saying? And what happens, you start seeing just a premiere, man, he just was like engulfed. He started just being a fan versus being like he didn't come for war. He came to to me, play records.
Well, I think too though, with RZA came because people were saying like it was just going to be like a dub for RZA. Like it's no way he could mess with Primo, right?
Right.
And so I think, and this is an example, people being motivated by the crowd, being like, "Oh, you think I got a dub? All right, well, let me bring out all these songs that, to people's credit, like, you don't know the song. People didn't know that RZA produced Long Kiss Goodnight, right? Like, or you're not going to bring out like Fourth Chamber, or, you know, some of the complexities around Wu-Tang is you don't know who performed, you don't know who produced what at what time, right? So you don't know, you don't know who was Fourth Disciple, you don't know what was True Master, and you don't know what was RZA, right? So I think people was like, yo, RZA going to get this dub. And so RZA was like, all right, well, I'm gonna show you I'm not gonna get this dub, right? And I'm gonna bring out the big guns that I have 20 plus songs, all with one, to be true, 9 people, but I got with all these people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and so no, but to Bree, I agree. I think RZA was kind of, hold on, y'all gonna disrespect me? like I ain't got joints. Like I got joints. So for me, so the two that have been the most interesting for me, one was Bounty Killer and Beanie Man.
Mm-hmm. And
I'm not putting it in order, so I'm just saying I'm gonna use Bounty Killer and Beanie Man because, like, again, that's part of the 3. So I'll do 3. One is Bounty Killer and Beanie Man because that's the part of, like, there's reggae culture, there's, like, global Black culture, right? And we talked about this, Justin. I talk about this. When you start to realize that there are Black people everywhere on the planet, you stop thinking that the world revolves around what happens in America. Even though Black culture is an engine and a spark of global Black culture, there are elements of global Black culture that don't have anything to do with America. And reggae sometimes is a perfect example of, like, a song might have been big in England and you didn't hear it because it wasn't on Hot 97. But that doesn't mean that to the Jamaican diaspora or to the Caribbean diaspora, Bounty Killer wasn't the man in 1997.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And so that's what that one did. And then plus it brought out the elements of that culture, which is like they both got dressed up in clothes that were way too tight and way too shiny. Right? Like, you know what I'm saying? They pulled that play out. Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, they did what you would do, but they also gave, and I think that was the first one that was when Swiss and Timbaland pivoted, they put them in the same place to not have the issue I'm gonna talk about next.
Yeah.
Right, he's right. So with that said, these verses have been educational too.
Right.
And to name a couple more, war stories, it was like Erykah Badu and Jill Scott. Like, Jill Scott's a woman, and no disrespect, but here's what I mean by that. She, like, Jill Scott came ready for war, and Badu did too, but Jill was nervous. And she started taking, sips of that wine. And when she got loose, remember, she came in peace but ready for war. And the more Jill Scott, like, loosened up, she's just like the beast started coming out. And it was like, oh, well, you were, like, so, lovey and all that and emotional during it. And then it was kind of Hollywood. You start crying and, going personal. But she kept the bangers coming, though.
Oh, no.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So she kept the bangers coming.
No, that was 29th Street. No.
Okay.
No.
See?
No. That was 23rd. That was 23rd Street all the way through. Like, what Jill Scott gave you was North Philadelphia. Like, it's all good. Like, it's fine. Like, I love you. But I got this work just in case.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, just in case you wanted smoke. Like, the work is present. I'm not leading with the work, though, right? I'm leading with the love. You know what I'm saying? I'm leading with love. I'm not leading with a problem. But a problem is so close that when it came out, you wouldn't even know. But since we're not going there, that's not what we're doing, right? And I take that back, actually, to the Chappelle show, the show that Chappelle did when he did the movie, when Jill Scott and Erykah Badu was both doing You Got Me. If you haven't watched it, for anyone listening, if you haven't watched it, you have to go back and watch the movie that Chappelle did when he had The Roots, Black Star, Kanye, when Kanye did the Jesus Walks thing. And, we talked about Kanye last week, but when Ye did the Jesus Walks, which was an experience in itself. And then Jill Scott and Erykah Badu both did their renditions of You Got Me on stage together. And man, I ain't gonna ruin it, but yes. And so
Block Party?
Yeah, Block Party.
Yeah, Block Party. Yeah.
And so it was like you done went to war with somebody that you know what they got. So I don't really want to fight you. I really want to just be bonded with you, right? So that's what that was. But Jill Scott gave you straight 23rd Street, 23rd and Lehigh. She gave you like, listen, like I'm gonna play whatever role you want us to play, and listen, we're gonna sit here and drink this, we're gonna talk, but like I got smoke if you want smoke. You know what I mean?
Like your mama, like you know what I'm saying?
Right, like a black mother, like a black mother. I want to lead with love and compassion. You know what it's like? The end of a family reunion or the end of a barbecue. It's that time of the night.
You start getting a little spicy.
When they
like
get a little
like,
spicy.
Are they still playing? Are they joking right now, or is Auntie really mad?
Exactly.
Because I'm not 100% sure at the moment.
It could go either way. When somebody is like, you know what? This conversation started with jokes, I remember you bought him here, his shoes was really shiny. He looked like he just got off the train from Birmingham or something. like you know what I'm saying? Like it can get vicious, but as long as everybody laughing, everybody just go home, right? That's what she brought to the table, right?
Yeah.
So I think that one was a special one because also, again, and props to Swiss and Timberland because they did a good pivot on that one. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so many people wanted a different energy, right? So they bought a different energy that allowed folks to really like dig in differently. Because even if men was acting like they wasn't there, they was there. If one to watch women talk about it. Or if you just happen to be like the songs, right? So that was one. Another one I'm going to share, and I want to get your feedback on this one, is the infamous Teddy Riley and Babyface, which showed all of the blessings and limitations of getting old.
Yeah.
Like that one was what happens when you get old and can't find everything going on. Like you are Teddy Riley. Like you are probably the and I say this, and you know, people can have a debate about it. We can debate about it. You are kind of like the Miles Davis of the last 40 years. Like Teddy Riley did the show. So let's just start there. Teddy Riley did, in some ways, the penultimate hip-hop song, right? Teddy Riley then turns around and does Heavy D and then does Keith Sweat.
Right.
Then does Bobby Brown, right? Then does Guy. Then does Michael Jackson's Remember the Time, which I think was like the early 90s blackest moment when everybody was glued to the television watching Remember the Time video.
Yeah.
Teddy Riley does all of this stuff, right? And then he goes down to Virginia when everybody's hustling too. Like Teddy Riley has done all the blackest stuff you can imagine. Teddy Riley went down VA when everyone head down VA to hustle. So he gives birth to Missy and Devontae Swing, and then by extension Timberland.
Word?
Yeah.
They all,
he got
and Pharrell,
all of that.
And Pharrell, they all learned from Teddy Riley. Homie is the Miles Davis, or however you want to, whatever artist you choose in your particular musical genre to look at, but he's the wonder kind of all of that. But he can't figure out how to make his stuff work like it's Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
They got this thing on. They tapping the bike. This thing on. Oh man, we're going to come back and do it again.
He's tapping the air.
He didn't want it to end though. He didn't want it to end. He wanted to keep it going until he got it right. Like.
Yeah.
Like an old black man. Right. We're not going to end this until I figure it out.
Right. Now y'all just hold on.
Right.
God damn it. I know what I'm doing. Hold on.
Right.
Shit. You come here and tell me I do what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing.
This ain't over till I say it's over. What? Dog, it's over. Babyface had a glass of wine.
But he kept saying, "Are you serious? Are you serious?" It's like, yeah, man.
Yo, and like I said, so you got Teddy Riley, who is literally probably one of the most talented people of the last 40 years. You got Babyface sitting there like, yo, dog, I just came into my studio and I just had COVID. but I
Right.
but I came in for the ladies.
Babyface funny for that.
Yeah.
When I get home from work.
It was kind of like watching a teacher and a student literally go at it. It was like, but the teacher kind of knew what you was going to come with. It's like, it's kind of like watching like an old kung fu movie. Like he taught you everything, or he, like I said, he trained with you, and it's like, so he's sitting back just like, yeah, I know you're gonna throw that punch. I know that kick was coming. I didn't know actually what time it was coming, but I knew it was coming. And since you gave me that kick, I'm gonna give you this. And it was just like, he had an answer for everything that Teddy Riley put up. But me, I'm not, I'm still, I'm not over 40 yet. But so I couldn't for the life of me. I mean, folks just swore that Babyface won, just off the rip because all the number ones he kept playing. But I was in the club. I'm like, man, I'm like dancing, I'm jamming. I'm like, I know what these songs were like. I know how it felt hearing my sister or hearing my mom even play guy records. Like Aaron Hall in the crib was like hearing Bobby Brown. You know what I'm saying? It was like, Aaron Hall was like the king, man. And so over Teddy Riley beats, I mean, it was kind of, I remember those 90s days, man. I remember those summers. I remember that those outfits they had. I remember the haircuts, the chains. It was just like the swag. It was hard to just say, all right. To me, it was neck and neck because I felt good hearing the Teddy Riley records. I felt good hearing Babyface records. These were always on Whammo. These were always, or The Quiet Storm. These were always, songs that everybody played. But, who was a kid? I was a kid, so I wasn't in love like that. Teddy Riley's music was like, hey, you want to just have fun with it. You want to have fun.
Yeah, Teddy Riley, right? Teddy Riley's music was like 19 to 28, and Babyface's music was like the dude that turned 29 and decided to flip a new leaf.
I'm trying to grow up. You know what I mean? I gotta get a little more mature with what I'm doing. He took the poster down with like if he had the poster like with Janet Jackson with the with the hands in the appropriate place. Right. If he had that poster up at 28, he took that down. You know what I'm saying? And he put up Miles or Coltrane or something.
Right.
I'm a little more refined now with mine.
Yeah, he put on he had the Marvin Gaye Marvin Gaye poster because he had transitioned to another place. You know what I'm saying?
Place right now. He ain't trying to deal with that sort of objectification, brother.
Right. He was
fam, I'm cool.
Right. You know what, brother? You know what I'm saying? I know what you're talking about. I know that kind of music, but I'm trying to move to another place as soon as I get home from work.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm about that life.
Yeah, right.
The thing so I was sitting here while we was rolling through that, and I was trying to make just a quick list of names and like who we could match them with, and then I was trying to like make sure I was fair and balanced, so to speak, because I could pull all of everybody I liked in the 90s to the early 2000s, which might be a little skewed to certain poles of the region, and then I was trying to think people who are better equipped. I'm thinking like who do you match with Juvenile? You know what I'm saying? Because you got to do a Southern swing if you can get them. You know what I'm saying? Or is it? I mean, and not to just like match two people who we would put together because that's the only two people that you can remember.
Right.
As a person that's not maybe that don't know that region as well, like or who could you match with a Scarface?
Well, you
know what I'm saying? Scarface want to get on
you
the
can't put nobody with Face. Well, that's the thing. You can't put nobody with Brad Jordan because the thing is with Face is like, and to me, Scarface or Brad Jordan, since started running for office, Brad Jordan is top 5 DOA, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, who you gonna put with him that you gonna match the like Tupac ain't here no more. Like, who else you gonna put to really have a conversation with Face? Because you can't really do an East Coast dude to match Face.
Yeah,
it's just a different energy. You know what I'm saying? And Outkast, you can't even really do that, right? So I think there's a whole host of stuff that doesn't make sense. Now, I saw somebody post something the other day that was interesting. They talked about Future, right? And they talked about, like, having Future versus somebody. And it's like, on some level, the only person you could put up against Future is actually Drake.
Yeah.
Because there's nobody else that has no smoke for what Future brings to the table. If you like it, if you don't like it, that's not my point. But there's nobody who got no smoke for what Future brings to the table of that thing that he does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Like, if you don't, whatever you call it, you can't touch that because, like, he has mastered it, right? And he don't even do half of the stuff that he talks about in the song.
Right.
But when he steps in that zone for everyone who does that thing, right? And so, I think the challenge is in that I think they've been, it's somewhat hit or miss. I think the last ones have been better. I mean, obviously Snoop and X, I wasn't sold, but clearly it worked. My probably personal favorite outside, personal favorite from song to song was Kiss and Fab. Mostly just for the fact that Kiss ain't to be played with and the fact of how turnt he was. Kiss was Kiss was
also was like Kiss was nice too. Kind of like brothers came to put on the show, and I appreciate that.
Right.
They came to entertain, and it wasn't. And you've seen this kind of like through it all. Supposed to be personal, and supposed to actually explain some personal sides of their life, what they're going through. Like, just to rewind back, Jill, Scott, Erica, but doing the homeschooling with their kids. So you was like, oh man, they doing what we do. They doing what everybody else is doing.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? But that was one that I had to catch, while I was working, the Fab and Jadakiss. And at first I'm like, man, Fab, man, he gonna be cool with this. And then I had to snap back and realize, man, Jadakiss been rapping since I was like in 9th grade. You know what I'm saying? Like on Clue mixtapes, like the locks. Like, there's just so many verses.
Kiss has never had a bad verse. You may not have liked the song, but there's never been a time that Jadakiss has turned in a verse that you could say was whack.
Him or Method Man, right? Him or Method Man.
Like, and he's one of the only rappers, and Face is actually another one of them, and of course Black Thought. But like you could never be like, yo, that was trash, dog. Like that was like that just didn't work, right? Like, Kiss has never done that. So when you put this guy who's never done a bad verse and has been rapping for 25 years against anybody, and Fab is one of the toughest, but Fab has done songs that are lyrically interesting, but maybe the song in total wasn't interesting. That's the difference. Like, Kiss has done stuff where you be like, oh, I don't like the song, but damn, Kiss went there. Where like Fab has done stuff, you be like, damn, Fab can rap, but I don't like that song. Like,
right.
I'm not feeling it.
Yeah, like
but I appreciate his technical capacity.
Exactly.
Kiss didn't do half of the songs. He got so much ammunition, man.
Oh,
he didn't even do a song off of his new album that he just dropped. Like,
he has freestyles. He has freestyles he could have done for hours, right? But again, to your point, Bree, the human side came out that I think was important for people to see for both of them. But again, they've done an album together, so it was important to see that bond, right? And I think that you know, again, the shout out to them for the entrepreneurial pivot. They've gone to this like togetherness energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
That they have moved to. But to your point, it's so when I think about where they're at now and kind of like where do they go from here? I mean, they can continue to pull out certain people. Like it's hard to pull out MOP versus Mobb Deep because Prodigy isn't here, right? Physically.
Yeah, you can't do it without Prodigy.
Yeah, you can't really, because you could probably do an MOP and Mobb Deep conversation without, you know what I'm saying? You probably couldn't, you know, depending on people's perspective, you probably couldn't get 20. You know, and then it's like, okay, do you go into Afro? You know, you're not, you know, again, globally, people can understand there's 20 Afrobeat songs from certain artists, but maybe not in America, right? And so I think it's going to be interesting because at some levels, they're making how they can present it now is that people are making money off of this. So they can show artists like, listen, you're going to get more spins. You're going to get more like plays on Spotify and Apple Music. Like you're going to make money off of doing this, right?
Yeah, you're going to get a bump.
You're going to get a bump from doing it. So, I mean, I would like to see somebody versus Face, but again, it has to be somebody that is of Face's caliber. You know what I'm saying? To really,
yeah, I think the other thing I was thinking about is you got to add a caliber. You know, maybe the depth of your, you know what I'm saying, of your productivity, so to speak, or the vintage. You know what I mean? Even like off the top, and I was thinking about it, and depending on what song he chose, I think you could maybe put Face and Ice Cube there together.
Yeah, you could do that. Yes,
I think you could pull it off.
You're right.
I think they could figure it out.
That's the only person.
I think they could figure it out.
Yes, that's the only person that you could do it with of this generation. Yes. Yeah.
Because anybody you couldn't. You know what I mean, you can't just you can't just throw anybody out there next to him. I was thinking about you know, coming outside because all these aren't necessarily rap ones. I was thinking about if you could get Raphael Sadiq. I'm not sure who you put on the other side, but I would watch because if you ever see Raphael, I've had the pleasure to see Raphael Sadiq perform live, and it's amazing. That brother's out; he's unbelievable. You know, maybe like you get like Mint Condition or some shit, but I don't even know.
He will crush them. That ain't that.
Yeah, that ain't fair.
But see, Crush. See, it's all about, to me, song placement.
Yeah, that's true.
I think the song placement makes people forget that you don't have a large catalog as the next person. Because, like, to be honest, I chose Snoop to beat DMX, but when the actual verses came and I'm watching the verses, I really felt DMX's songs. His energy was there. I was more excited hearing DMX's songs than I was Snoop's. Even though Snoop didn't play even half of his catalog either, but I really felt good hearing DMX's songs. So to me, I think it's about what songs make you feel good. You know, what songs get you up. So I think if Mint Condition and Raphael Sadiq, Tony went head to head. You play Pretty Brown Eyes, man. Folks is going, light candles and you know what I'm saying? Like,
you're right. Here's the thing. He got Pretty Brown Eyes. He got the other song off that album, and Stokely has individual songs that are played on adult contemporary stations all across the country, right?
Right. So he's gonna have to go in that. I mean, Raphael Z got a couple. He got several recent records. You know what I'm saying, in the last 10 years that are good quality. It would just be interesting to figure out I don't know if that's the groove that they looking for.
Yeah,
for the verses.
I think the R&B vibe that they have gone to was smart with Jill and Erykah Badu, and then even with Lil Jon and T-Pain in their own right, because that was kind of a wild one too, because that was a real battle, and T-Pain wasn't really he was trying to battle but was hiding his hand, but Lil Jon wasn't hiding his hand.
Right.
Lil Jon was like, I want smoke. I want full out Atlanta smoke. Right? Like I am the king of this. Like I've been doing this, and I got songs that play with Pitbull that people just drink shots of vodka and Red Bull to. Like
Right.
shot. Like, you know what I mean? So no, I think you make a good point about it. I kind of personally think that the next one should be, and I'm going to use this term probably for the only way I've used it like this in the last 5 to 10 years. They need a ratchet R&B joint. They need. Go ahead.
Well, Ashanti just accepted Keisha Cole's challenge. I don't know if it's going to be official, but Keisha during the versus battle, Keisha pretty much in the comments took a shot at Ashanti, and today Ashanti, confirmed.
Woo! Okay. See, I was thinking Keisha. See, I was debating that because I was thinking again, the Mary J. Blige is one of them other singular folks who was like, who could you really put her against?
Yeah.
Who can really hold up?
It ain't really fair.
Yeah, like who can really hold up? But like my thing with Keisha Cole and Ashanti, y'all are both going to, after about 8-9 songs, y'all are both going to drift.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, y'all are both going. It's going to be like, okay, bet you're Keisha Cole. You're going to do Love. You're going to do a couple of these songs that was the joints, and then Ashanti, you're going to do all the Murder Inc. joints, and then it's going to get real quiet. Like y'all got to do 10 songs. Y'all can't do 20 songs, right? Like that's
like Jagged Edge in 112.
Exactly.
The whole thing drifted. The whole thing
drifted because it's like, dog, y'all don't have 20 songs like that.
Yeah,
you're a classic artist. You really got 20 songs.
Yeah, you really got to have a catalog to hold down the medium. The medium doesn't have air for like a 5-minute. Let my song play out while I'm going. Like you gotta go to the next banger and remind me that you got this other dope song, in the pocket. You know what I'm saying? You can't just flam your way through. If you like, we're gonna let it go to the bridge. We're gonna hit these high notes for a couple minutes and harmonize on them. Like, no, you're not. You better come with another song. I'm on my phone right now. Like, I need you to come out with another joint that I like.
Yeah, I think Royce the 5'9" and Styles P will be a good one.
But again, going back to this point, like SP is hard, super hard. But it's like SP gonna play some of the stuff that Jada played, and then Royce is gonna have to play stuff with Eminem, and it's gonna get weird, right? Like it's like you would need like. Again, that's where it's almost like you could have really talented artists, but you actually need a body of work that gets to 20 songs without being bad, right? Yeah. Like, and that's a difficult thing to get to 20. And 17 through 20 have to be knockout blues. Like 17 through 20 have to be punching each other in the mouth like Rocky and fucking Drago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, so that means you got to start with 3 good songs and you got to end with 4 or 5 good songs.
Right, where you like,
right, and how many people have literally 3 classics to start with and 4 classics to end with, right? And X and Dog, they had it, right? Fab and Jada, they had it, but you realize how Jada had it. Right? Like you realize how
Jada,
Jada had them. Right? And Fab has, depending on your take, he just has about 6 or 7 songs. You're like, yo, that was the shit. But he's gonna start playing album cuts. Right?
Yeah.
Like even Erykah Badu and what's her name start playing album cuts where about 12 or 13, it was like, whoa, okay. So I didn't listen to that album, right? Like, but you need somebody that's going to be like, yo, I'm not going to give you, and if I give you an album cut, it's going to be because the hood loved this album cut. And so that's why I think, sometimes you can have like an embarrassment of riches. I think they are faced with the embarrassment of riches, but it's good for Black folks. It's good for the global community, but it's especially good for Black folks because this is giving us, like we're talking about, what we don't have, right? Like we don't have those family reunions, right? We're not doing them. Or we don't have that show that you can go to. Like in Philly, they got a spot called the Del East. And it's like, you're going to go see all these old artists do their music, and they only got 4 or 5 songs you want to hear, and they're barely going to do them well, but they're going to do their 4 or 5 songs, and you're going to have a great time, right? Mm-hmm. And so, but you don't have that right now. So people got to be in the house, worry about their money, or not worry about their money, and then not have the outlets of culture that we're used to. So even if you have a vacation, and the other challenge with us, right, not to go too far off, that a lot of our vacation places that we go are now the same places that you can't go because of COVID. So if you be like, yo, where we going to go? Oh, let's go down Miami, right? You can't go to Miami right now.
Right.
Right? Or, you know where we're going to go? We're not going to go to Atlanta. We're going to go to Houston because we're going to go party. I can't go to Houston right now. And there's like, oh, no, let's go to LA. I can't really go to LA right now. So all the places that we traditionally party really ain't the places to be trying to go right now.
Right.
So there's a whole nother, I guess, emotional space that we're in that I think, is a deep space. But I think to your point, Verzuz has met that and rose to the occasion, as Black people do, right? We rise to the occasion. Like we got a challenge, and we rise to the occasion and figure out how to take care of each other. Even if it's even through the bad stuff.
Yeah, we make something. It's sort of like there's a kind of phrase that people go like, I don't know how you made it through something, and I'm always like, what does that mean? I'm alive. I'm alive, baby. We're gonna go pop it after I get, once I'm cool. All right, everything's intact. Let's go. Let's go pop a bottle of, it don't need to be alcohol. We just get some Coke.
That's right.
Coca-Cola. You know what I'm saying? Soda.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We ain't doing no nose candy. Ride the white horse, man. That song from the 80s. You know what I'm saying? But like the reality that if you're here to think about the fact that you went through it, then you should celebrate. You should go have some fun. Go get with some people you like or you love, and appreciate the moment. Like the talk of resiliency and what have you as it pertains to our community, is it's a fraught conversation, but it is also, to me, I always just look at it that you have a long-term cellular memory of being here. So chill. You know what I'm saying? Like, let go, you know what I mean? Don't get too uptight. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't go too deep with all this. Like, you're here, go find somebody you like. I mean, if you don't have the good fortune to be, able to be in the same place because of the COVID, figure out a strategy. You know what I'm saying? So you could go do something celebratory, man. Go sit out on the stoop somewhere or something. I mean, social distance, walk somewhere or whatever. You know what I mean? But find some enjoyment. Word. So
I guess I was trying to say, earlier to add on, Justice spoke on, vacation places, just all these activities that in a matter of months I forgot about.
Right.
So do you miss them? I guess the question, now is, do we miss them? Do we miss these events that have been taken away due to COVID? Or do you get a better outside look, like in hindsight, like, man, I don't went to Florida and I would have just spent excess money on, bullshit. Or I would have just, versus looking like now, to a degree, everyone should, be mindful of their money and not just going out, right, and just spending all kind of crazy dollars on things because you don't know. Well, winter's coming, so we don't know how it's going to be, how cold it's going to be. But do you miss them? I wanted to go to Florida, obviously, this year for my born day, but I wasn't going because of the COVID numbers in Florida. But did I miss it? Right. I really can't tell you. Also, I wanted to ask you guys because, if you had extra money, if we all were cut $10,000 checks, what would we do with them? What would you do with them in these times? Because if I asked you this last year,
right? No, that's true.
You'll be going to a lot of the events you mentioned.
I'd have been there already.
I'd be booking my ticket to Ghana or something. I'd be like, yo, I'm going to the Chalawote Art Festival at the end of August. Like, yo, I'm going down there this year. I just got this 10-rack payout. We going on a trip.
You're right. So let me. I'm gonna add on. Then what I'm saying, just please add on this. So one, I think clearly we're all trying to survive because our country, generally speaking, is horrible. And what I mean by that is not the other stuff, but what I mean specifically how we've dealt with COVID. Right. The rest of the world has figured out. The rest of the quote unquote first world, and I don't think it's the first world, but the rest of what they call the countries that are like developed countries have figured out how to move forward with this. At one point, we were like, Italy was as bad, worse than us, right? Do you notice you don't hear anything about Italy anymore?
Nothing.
Because you know why? Because they figured it out. Everybody stay in the damn house. And the government paid them to stay in the house, and the government didn't make a big deal about business until everyone could come outside, and then they figured it out. Now, we are in a situation where we should have figured it out when Italy was going through the same thing we are, but we're still going through the same thing, and now we're second to Brazil, which if you know anything about the corruption, and not for the people of Brazil, but the government of Brazil, we're not in a good place. So, in one level, yes, I think at some juncture, where we're at is Americans have always been used to doing what they want to do. And so we don't know how not to do what we want to do. And that has had dangerous and fatal impacts. So, and if you said, where you want to go, man, and it's probably been on the third Good Brothers podcast, I want to go to the London Marathon. But I don't know if they're going to let me into England. Because right now, it doesn't matter if you have a up-to-date passport. It doesn't matter if you have the money to go. You can't go to most countries in the world. They will not let you into those countries. Right? So I want to go to Europe and I cannot go. I want to go October 5th, but I won't know until in August if they actually are letting people from America in. And I have this sticky sense that they're not going to let us in. And so that is a whole nother thing that I have an interest in interacting with a global community around running that I can't do because of the irresponsibility of America, right?
Yeah.
So that's one to answer your question. So go ahead, add on, Justin.
Yeah, for me, I mean, to echo those sentiments, we have a constitutional crisis playing out.
Right.
in my city. we got, again, that you can't get in depending on where you're trying to go. And my bad was that was actually supposed to start in June, that there was these lower cost one-way joints from here straight to Heathrow.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, word up. I can get on the joint from here. I go bang, straight to Heathrow. I ain't even got to stop. I think the route is probably, I doubt the route's probably definitely still open. Maybe I can get a bargain price. But again, I might not be able to get in so I could go kick it with Majestic while he's running because I'm going to be walking around taking pictures. But, you know what I'm saying? I do some push-ups and stuff. I do, epic, you know what I'm saying, push-up videos. You know what I'm saying? But me and the Bobbies, I do them in front of the Bobby or whatever like that. You know what I'm saying? In front of Buckingham Palace. You know what I'm saying? On the bridge. Oh, man, look at Justice doing push-ups on the bridge. Justice is out here. You know what I'm saying? But all of that is limbo time. So if I got handed, or just through the fruits of my labor, it was like, look, I got this. I got a surplus. I could go do something I never did or wouldn't normally do.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to be like, well, maybe I get a real dope computer or something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
or I stash it, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe we fix up, you know what I'm saying? I go ahead and replace this TV with, more TV than I really need in my life. Just because, you know what I mean? Outside of being prudent in the general reality of saving something for later, it ain't looking good for 2020 to make no trips. So, I'm gonna have to let that, I'm wrestling with the reality that I'm just gonna have to let that go. Like even in the country trips is looking like you're really making it hard right now, America. Like go in the crib, man. Like put on a mask, wash your hands, and just go sit down for fucking 3 weeks so we can fix this, so we can be straight.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
But yeah, so that's and so to answer your other question around just like the resources, I think there is a positive piece of this where this is making a lot of us think about what are the other things that matter, whether it's real estate, whether it's investing in yourself, right? Whether it's investing in, if you're into the stock market and certain things. This is giving people a space to think about if you have the access to resources to be thoughtful around things, how would you use them, right? And so I do think that is one thing that is a lining, if you will, out of this conversation of, okay, when you can't do all the stuff you've been used to doing, what should you be doing with your time, with your money, and with your energy, right? And I would argue for me, this has shifted my time, money, and energy to be very thoughtful and mindful of what is in my own best interest, differently than it would be if I had time to be outside doing other stuff, right? So it has shifted my mentality even more towards what is in my interest, and then conversely, what is not. Because you start to realize what is not in your interest when you can't do it. Because you'd be like, damn, I want to go do this. And you think about, was that to your interest anyway? Because you'd be like, yo, I want to go to a bar, right? Bars are, and shout out to all my bar owners that are struggling right now, because I don't downplay that. Because if I had a business and you told me I couldn't make money off my business, but then you wasn't going to pay me to keep my business closed, I'm an unhappy camper, right?
Yeah. Very.
But so like, you might say to yourself, yo, I'm about to go to the bar. But then you thought to yourself, so you're going to go and pay more for alcohol than you would at home to be around people who you may or may not like to end up smelling like cigarettes. Damn, this is a tough one. You know what I'm saying? Like, So I think it has helped on that. But at the same time, it has also made you very clear that based on the decisions of elected officials, namely the president, that you are not allowed to express your freedoms in the ways that you have been used to up until the last, and it's only been 4 months. I do want to say this too. It's only been 4 months.
Yeah. It feels like a year.
It feels like a year. It's only been 4 months, right? Like March 13th or whatever. And it's, you know what I'm saying? It's just July 24th. It's been 4 months and a week. So imagine how it's going to feel into January and February. Like, oh man. But yeah.
Christmas is canceled.
I was trying not to. I'm gonna keep it at it. I have two like noodling notions that I just hold on to. Them. Like one of them is like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get myself a by myself LA trip. If I don't know else, anything else fail, I'm gonna go get a nice hotel. I'm gonna like stay at the line or something. And if I don't even got to socially distance and not talk to nobody, I'm gonna look out the window and enjoy LA in the only way I can. Because damn it, America's making it hard. So is that, and the other notion is like, well, you know, we all go in the bubble, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? For the 2020, you know what I'm saying? Build the craft, build the arts, you know what I'm saying? Build these various things out, you know what I'm saying? And then when it can open up, it's gonna be a lot of openings. People gonna be coming up with ideas, people gonna be wanting the fun stuff. They're like, maybe we could do this, maybe we could do that, maybe we could go here, maybe we do this. You know what I'm saying? And just maybe be ready for that explosion of energy. You know what I'm saying? And maybe it won't be, it won't necessarily be an all of a sudden thing because it's not that type of situation. But it'll be we finally crossed the spot where, yeah, man, you can go outside if you want to go outside, man. Like, go ahead. And
if you want to go outside.
If you want to go, but that's the other thing. I think it's going to take. It's going to be 2 to 3 years before people will have enough space to forget what they were scared about. You know what I mean? Or at least, you know, the threat and the worry, you know, goes away. And that's, you know, that to me is the realistic window. So maybe these, you know, bringing it back where we started, you know what I'm saying? These verses, these different, taking slices of the culture, right? Like, how do you do verses maybe with visual artists of some kind, like some kind of, you know what I'm saying, some kind of pace you juxtapose cats that operate in that medium, or maybe how do you do something with the action sport world, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you do something with I don't know, like I mean, you definitely do something with some cooking people, you know what I'm saying? Like some kind of, you know, only thing is it ain't. I mean, I like watching cooking shows, but I don't know if everybody's into that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? But what's the other lanes? You know what I mean? Where could you do something with some comedian? I mean, some comedians do something. You know what I'm saying? Interesting or something creative. You know what I mean? Like in a way that we haven't seen them before, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? And I guess, you know, some of them is already doing it, and you know, there's a podcast for every human that exists at the moment. But you know, maybe we find some other creativity swells, you know what I mean, from this. I mean, and I think at this moment, go ahead, guy.
I think that to add on, I think we forgot to mention that a couple of the verses were when we were in the red. So I think a lot of them popped off more because you really had no option but to be in the house, and it was a curfew, you know. So it was like there's nothing else to do but basically tune in and watch this, you know, or go to Netflix versus like being in the green or the yellow. What Majestic said, I wanted to add on real quick, I'll let you add back on, Justice, was you think twice or a third time now he said of what's in your best interest. And that's why I said earlier, you know, things won't be the same. Like you won't look at going to a concert the same anymore because you'll think, hey man, do I want to spend $100 on, you know, seeing uh, seeing Erykah Badu, you know, or seeing Jill Scott live when I kind of got my rocks off watching them on the Verzuz. You know what I mean? But before you would just blindly just say, oh, Jill Scott's coming, I'm going. You know, or something's going. So we just had excuses, we had different options to just spend money frivolously on things. Now you'll think twice. Like, do I want to go there? Do I need to go there? You know, because you really can't go anywhere anyway. So do I want to do? You know what I'm saying? Like now, you know, you may not, you know, shop as much because where are you wearing these things to, right? Because you're not going to the bar as you may have once went. You're not going to the club. You're not going to, you know, everything has changed. So, looking at the arts as well, like, you know, you won't look at them the same because they're not going to be the same. Or they have to be like so much money has to be put into trying to capture you now in marketing that's not there and may not be there ever again. So, if you were the type of cat, well, a person, if you were a dinosaur that said, "Hey, man, I'm gonna live this life without no cell phone, without a smartphone. I'm not gonna get the internet. I'm cool." You're gonna be out the loop because everything's gonna be online. You know what I'm saying, or like
Yeah.
on social media. But yeah, I wanted to say, and that could be hurtful to many businesses because now folks are thinking twice or a third time. So businesses are going to have to close because they cannot bring in that crowd anymore. Like restaurants, bars. Yeah, um, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I don't know. I want to
No,
say
that's
that.
peace. Yeah, well, I think that the situation has changed. Like I said, I think something like these, maybe they get deeper in the bag with like artists that you don't, that folks that know that other people don't know. You know what I'm saying? Maybe those come, maybe you reframe even within the context of like how it shows up. Maybe as consumers of arts, of creative experiences, usually for the purposes of excitement and re-entertainment and enjoyment, you people still gonna need to want to see their stories played out in some way. For folks that have resisted these current conditions, definitely make it hard to be like, I don't want to be on any of these platforms and whatnot.
Okay.
Maybe it opens the window for some obscure platforms, some platforms developed with a different intent, maybe to make their bubble. This would probably be the time, right? You know what I'm saying? Because people are like, yeah, I feel some kind of way about being on, you know what I'm saying, anything connected to Facebook. I feel some kind of way being on anything connected to, if you scared of the TikTok, you know what I'm saying? Where you go, there's this other thing, all
Right.
my friends is on it. And maybe that bubbles out. We'll see, man. We'll see. So we at close to 90.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I always go add a little bit more space when we got a three-man weave because you gotta spread the floor when you got 3-man weaves. So you need a little more time. But what would be, maybe just a closing thought, you know what I'm saying? And whoever want to take it first and then I'll take us out.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Nabri, if you go.
Hey, just I think we, the the versus battle was actually the whole series basically was Swizz Beats and Timberland like accidentally kind of like they battled each other, but they didn't know it was going to go this far. So my point of is saying, I think now is your time to try something because you don't know where it may go. You don't know. It may blossom into this big, huge flower or tree. So you mentioned, you want to see more artists like Cloaks, Chefs going at it. Hey, now's the time. While everybody's kind of like, close to home and kind of like clutching onto the budget, now's the time to, be creative and put ideas out there, and you never know who's watching, especially online. You never know who's watching because they're not able to do the normal things that they would do or travel places that they would travel. So they're pretty much close to home and they're online like you. So be wise when you go live. Be wise, 'cause you never know who's watching and who may, want to contribute to your idea or may want to take away from your idea.
Mm.
Um, so, you know, and the verses has shown us that you never know who's tuning in. Um, so yeah, with that said, man, just stay healthy, you know, uh, build your mental and your physical, and hey, just take it, one day at a time, and just know that winter's coming. Winter's coming.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
prepare, whatever that means to you. How you need to prepare, just prepare, man. Don't be walking around in winter without no winter jacket. And the jacket is not always, literal.
Word up. Peace.
For me, what I leave with, I think, the Nabri built well, and really manifested a certain element in regard to that. But it's like, see the possibilities. It's like Red Sea and Blue Sea. Right now, our heads can be filled up about what is not possible, but not thinking about what is possible. You know what I mean? Like, so we're focusing on what has changed, but like we talked about with new normals, how much of your life wasn't really okay before, but you just were used to it, but it wasn't really cool, right? And so, because you didn't create the conditions created you, frankly, right? The conditions we find ourselves in, we didn't create them; they were created. And then you adjust to them and you adapt to them, right? And you create great things out of it. So it's about what are the possibilities of what we don't see. And when we do get a chance to be together differently, what does it mean to us? Because what does it mean that all these elements that we used to do, we're not doing? So when you see the people that you haven't seen in months now, how will you deal with them? You know what I mean? And cherish those times and cherish those experiences. Peace.
Yeah. So the only thing I add on to that is just, make these moments meaningful. And remember you can put your intent, what I'm saying, in play. And I think that's what shows out, in times like this. And even looking at the thing that makes the Verzuz possible is that all those individuals had things that they put time and energy and focus and drive into, so that they would be at a place in their life that they could step up for a moment like that. And you don't have to be a performer, to have a track record. So add on to the cipher. Don't be a poop butt. So with that, I want to say, Nabri, thank you for joining us, God. I so appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Word up. All right. Well, with that, I'm gonna say peace.
Peace.
Peace.